Hi SD fans and welcome back. Our video about cleaning and preparing a brand new mask and then preventing it fogging when diving was very popular. So this video is the first in a new series where we're going to be sharing some handy pro hints and scuba hacks that will make your diving journey that much easier and simpler. For those here for the first time, my name's Mark and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Scuba Diver media brand. And welcome to the Scuba Diver YouTube channel. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. And if you ring that bell, you'll get notification of the latest releases. Also, don't forget to check out below how you can get a free digital subscription to any of our magazines. That's Scuba Diver UK, Scuba Diver Australia and New Zealand, and Scuba Diver Destinations, which is our US and Canada edition. And if you want to get your hands on a print version, we've got a special subscription deal just for our YouTube followers. Now, let's dive into that video. After so long in the diving arena, I have picked up some useful tips and advice, and we thought we'd share some of these scuba hints and hacks to make your diving easier and simpler. Let's start with wetsuits, or more specifically, getting into a wetsuit. Now, getting into a wetsuit can be a serious chore, especially if it's bone dry and you're somewhere very hot and you're a little bit sweaty. The neoprene will stick to your skin better than superglue. Some suits are better than others, and the latest breed of wetsuits that are made from like a super stretch neoprene or those that are made from neoprene alternatives like Ulex are definitely a massive improvement back from the days gone by of sharkskin neoprene and other old school materials that were an absolute nightmare. However, as soon as you start going up in thickness from 3mm to 5 or 7, the struggle to get into a suit becomes greater, whatever material it's made from. You probably know the trick of wetting your wetsuit, so either plunging it into the rinse tank or sloshing it over the side of the boat in the sea before donning. This will make a huge difference in making the neoprene more supple and easier to pull on. With 5mm and thicker suits, I have seen people slather a bit of marine-friendly baby shampoo onto their limbs, and this will help the suit slide on easily. The downside of that is you will probably leave a trail of soapy bubbles behind you during the dive. What I've found as the most effective tool for helping people get into a wetsuit is the humble carrier bag. If you put your hand or foot into it, you'll find the appendage will glide through the suit with ease. Get a good sturdy carrier bag and it will quite easily last for a multitude of dive trips, so you can just keep one in your dive bag. If you want to completely eliminate plastic from the equation, I've also found that the base layer socks, like spandex sort of material, like you can pick up cheaply as special buys in your local supermarket when it is ski season, works almost as well as the bag trick. Next up, let's talk about kit, or more specifically, how to identify kit as your own. These days, more and more manufacturers are offering ways to personalise your dive kit, be that colour-coded additions to your BCD or mask, or even full colour covers over the bladder. But by and large, the majority of dive kit is still black, or predominantly black. When there's a whole host of BCDs and wetsuits hung up on a rack, it can be hard to work out which ones are yours. There are several companies which make marking fluid which can be applied to all pieces of dive kit. It dries in a 3D finish, it's waterproof and flexible, and it comes in vivid bright colours. You can just put your initials in prime places, like the cuff of a wetsuit, the pocket of a BCD for example, and then locating your gear in a sea of equipment becomes a lot easier. Now if you don't want to go quite so in your face, I have seen people simply add a small piece of vibrantly coloured waterproof tape to their gear. So for example, a small piece on the zipper or zipper tag of the wetsuit, a loop around one or two of the D-rings on the BCD, or maybe around the heel strap of the fins. Again, just see the colour, you know they're yours. Even if you think I don't want to sully my dive kit with coloured tape or writing, I don't mind having to look for my dive gear. Consider at least marking your integrated weight pockets, if you have any. Example, diving on a liverboard in Egypt, you return from an awesome dive to the rib tender, and during boarding, all of the diver's integrated weight pockets end up in a pile on the deck of the boat. Once you return to the liverboard, you get back on board and then the crew lift up all of the equipment. Now generally you will take your mask with you, and it's easy to point out your fins and then your BCD regulator set. But when there's a pile of integrated weight pockets on the dive deck, it can be a chore to locate your two pockets. That's especially true if many on board have the same brand. Now, I generally have my dive right wing, and the pockets stand out from the norm, so they're easy to pick out. But when I use my Aqualung Rogue, it can be a completely different matter. I've been on a boat where 2/3 were using Aqualung products, and there was literally a pile of 24 Surelock 2 weight pockets on the dive deck after every dive. Now, I was lucky in that the white marker number system that was used by Roots Red Sea Resort was still clearly visible on my weight pocket handles, and I could grab mine with ease. But it became comical watching the rest swapping pockets back and forth as they tried to work out whose were whose. Drying your kit at the end of a dive trip can be a royal pain sometimes. If you're on a liveaboard, you can spread it out on the sun deck and it is generally baked dry by the time you pack for home. At some centres, you're able to leave it hanging on their racks until it's dry and then collect it for free and pack in on your last day. However, many times you have to take it back to your room and get it dry yourself. It's amazing how quickly the railings and the chairs and table on your balcony disappear under dive gear, and I often end up leaning stuff against the walls. Now, I take a couple of useful tools with me. First are some cheap and cheerful plastic S-hooks, which you can often find in camping stores. These can hold BCDs, fins, etc., and they can be slotted over the top of doors, railings, and so on, give you extra storage space. Secondly are a couple of camping drying lines. These stretchy cords can be suspended across the bathtub in your room to hold swimsuits or towels, but they're also strong enough to hold wetsuits as well. And the last one for today, helping to prevent your dive knife from rusting. Now, if you have a titanium knife, a quick rinse with fresh water at the end of your dive trip and you'll be golden, as titanium does not react to salt water. A stainless steel dive knife is a different matter. Stainless is more rust resistant, especially if you get marine grade 316, but after prolonged exposure to salt water, even that will start getting spots of rust appearing. Generally where the blade goes into the hilt and then in patches along the blade. Rinsing well with fresh water at the end of your dive trip and then drying it thoroughly will certainly help. But to keep your knife or other cutting tool in tip-top condition, there are a couple of things you can do. Personally, I liberally coat the blades of my knives with a spray of GT85 and then let it dry. This really helps keep the water off the metal. Similarly, you can coat your blade in a thin layer of grease, but that can get a little messy. Another alternative is a smearing of candle wax. What are some of your useful hints and advice? Leave your comments below, and if you have a question, fire away. Remember, if we can't answer, maybe someone in our community will be able to. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as over the coming weeks and months, we'll be sharing more of these hints, as well as plenty of other videos. And don't forget, you can grab a free digital magazine subscription in the description below. As always, stay safe, and if you are one of the lucky people who live somewhere you're able to get out and dive, enjoy.